Hey, welcome back to another one. Um, I have not slept in 24 hours. Last time I woke up was 6 p.m. I think there about 6 p.m. where my friend called me and he asked me like, "Hey, like, are we still down to hang out and everything?" Since 6 p.m., plus some jet lag help. I went to go and see my friend, and eventually went closer to 8. I ate some food after, had a conversation with him until like midnight, and then I came back home. Then I edited, and I was editing and finished the 104-day challenge video, the introduction video that would get the ball rolling. I'm really excited for it. I have it scheduled on the channel now, and so it's just waiting until the day when it needs to be revealed. I scheduled it for the 31st, so if people are curious about seeing that, then it should be fun. It's a more highly edited video and a more like a video made intentionally to engage and to be more captivating. So I hope people enjoy it. 3 minutes long, so nothing too crazy. But excuse me. And then so I was editing, and I was editing from about 12:30 a.m. until 5 or 6 a.m. when then I was meant to go and catch a plane. My mom and I, we went to Norway, not Norway. We are in Norway. We went to Oslo in order to go and sort some things out. Long story short, is my dad is starting a company. He's doing a venture. He's doing his own kind of thing, and so there was a good opportunity to like talk with like one of the ministers of foreign affairs or something like that in Norway, because they want to work with Nigeria for some things, or they want to look at other countries. They want to look at other countries and what's going on entrepreneurially, and then work with them and everything. So somehow my dad and the business got roped into that. And so my mom was then a representative for that, and so she had to go to Oslo to go and talk with this Norwegian minister and everything, which is pretty cool. Had the business casual on, like it was quite fun to see. But for me, I had to go there to sort some things out with my bank account and whatnot. I had For whatever reason, the way how the bank that I was part of works is kind of a bit like messy. Essentially, there's a bank called in Norwegian called the Sparebanken, which means the saving bank. And Sparebanken exists all across Norway, but they're not all linked to each other. And so if I go to Sparebanken in the east and then I'm now living in the west, I can't actually access the things in the Sparebanken in the east stuff. AKA there was AKA there were I just couldn't use the account essentially. That like I couldn't use the account. People like it's an account that I had for multiple years just like growing up, and I couldn't use it. I couldn't actually get to it. So the solution that they had was come to the one in the east and actually solve those things. And I went to Oslo to but back to my hometown, bro. It was actually nice because being there, I just had so many memories come back to mind, just seeing all the different things and everything around, just seeing the mountains, because a lot more mountainous than even here in Stavanger, like, and especially in Boston, like seeing all the mountains, the greenery, just looking at different places and remembering things. I saw the ski mountain that one time I was tumbling down. I saw the place where my brothers used to go to get kindergarten. We got on the bus that would usually take us back home. Walked past our old house as well, the first house I ever remember growing up in, and so or apartment technically. And so that was a really nice experience just to do that. I also got to see my adopted grandparents there, to an old couple that took us in when we came to Norway, and it was just really. I think I was always much younger when interacting with all these things. Now that I'm older, I'm learning to cherish it so much more than I had before. I mean, like I was just even everywhere looks smaller as well. Like the apartment that we used to live in looks so much smaller than I remember it to being. And yeah, it was quite funny in that regard. Even I went to the city center, and even that looked a lot smaller. But I guess that's part of life, right? Like one thought that I had in the whole process was, did live here, if I did live here and if I grew up here and everything, how would my life be different? Like, what would it look like if we didn't move, if we stayed here? And that was definitely something interesting to think about. I could say the same for Nigeria. What would it look like if we hadn't moved? I could say the same for Norway. What would it look like if I hadn't left, or not Norway, sorry, Stavanger. What would it look like if I hadn't left Stavanger for school? And what if I'd stayed here? And what if I'd just grown my life and everything? Like, it is very, very interesting to hear. Like, um, one that kind of is interesting to think about is that I, I wonder if, so, okay, a lot of my friends, after a while, a lot of my friends in Christian community, especially like at church, after a while, people started dating each other. And so I'm curious if I'd stayed here, would I have been dating one of them? Like that would be interesting. I don't know, to be fair. I think if I because there's a certain level of like closeness that I didn't really go through. Like I'm still close to them, but I didn't really go through by just like having raw experiences because I wasn't here to experience. And so I don't know if that would like change the scenario and everything. But I bring this up also because it was kind of like it's those kinds of things that people bring up interestingly, like I was on the plane, right? I was on the plane coming back to Nora, and then I saw a guy who I sat next to a guy, and he said we were just having small talk, and he said he was at a conference. So I was like, oh, what kind of conference? And he said a Christian conference. I was like, oh snap. Started talking with him and everything. He talked about how he was like really engaged in Christianity in Stavanger. So I was like, do you know Charisma Shaken, the church I go to? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh snap. Do you know the people, the pastors there? And he's like, yeah, yeah. I remember when one of them got married, and I'm like, that's crazy. But what was really funny is after a while he asked me, are you single? And I was just like, bruh, like this is not the first time I'm hearing this question. And sure, like, okay, I'm 21. Like it's about the time where a lot of people are getting into relationships, and especially in Norway, they seem to marry pretty young, like compared to elsewhere. And so I guess it kind of makes sense, but it's also really funny just to hear it happen so often. So even when I'm jumping around in this story now, but everything that I explained, by the way, I didn't sleep throughout. We just came back at 7 p.m. 9 p.m. Sorry, 8 p.m. What am I saying? We just came back at 8 p.m. today, and I flew out at 7 a.m. 7:30 a.m. earlier today, and I hadn't slept throughout that whole thing. I had like micro. There were points where like my body physically could not sustain itself, so I fell asleep, but nothing for more than 15 minutes. I think 15 or 20 minutes, and so I wouldn't have slept since that time where my friend called me about whether we were still going to like hang out and everything. But yeah, but yeah, I'm jumping back around a bit, but that was part of what we talked about a little bit. Like he told me about a lot about his whole situation, his situations with relationships and like getting to know people and everything. And so, but he told me some really amazing news that's happening right now. So I'm eager to see how it develops and just like be there to experience that. Oh, I should probably mention the elephant in the room. I forgot an entry. I forgot to, or not, I forgot. I missed an entry. I was meant to. Today is going to be the entry for May 26th, 2026, and I missed May 25th, 2026. I just have to acknowledge that. I was editing the video. I was really eager on getting it done. Kept thinking, again, it was like 4 a.m. I kept thinking, should I pause and just make the entry, or should I just keep going and edit this? And I chose to keep going and editing, keep going and just finish editing it. But now is freedom. I think what was really interesting, even with the edits, was I acknowledged how much, frankly, I acknowledged how much it consumed me. I really wanted to get this thing done, and everything was on pause. I it's something to the point where I actually don't want to I it's something to the point where I constantly have to ask myself, is this the way I want to go about things? Because because I would work on something and be engrossed by it and really enjoy it, but then everything suffers. My responsibilities suffer, my responsibilities in the house suffer, my responsibilities even with just responding to people suffer. How loving I am suffers because well I'm ignoring everything else other than just what I have to do. I don't think that's a good thing necessarily, but I and so I want to do things differently, but I don't just want to sacrifice everything that I enjoy in order to like keep myself sane. But maybe it might, or not keep myself sane, but keep myself doing what's right in a sense, or doing what I know I should do. Maybe that's the sacrifice that is a sacrifice that maybe I have to make if that's the case of my whole life is just crumbling whenever I'm eager and engaged in something. But I think for another thing, it's just having boundaries, having constraints, like learning to work on something for a certain amount of time and then like work on something for a certain amount of time and then not working on it later and just relaxing in that regard. Um, yeah, my mom said something really interesting. I don't remember if I've already mentioned it. I might have. But my mom said something really interesting about um, if you have 16 hours in your day, if you have 16 hours in your day, divide that accordingly, according to how much time you want to have for yourself and how much you want to have for others. Don't go over. You can go, if it's a dire situation, sure, you can do that, but otherwise don't go over. If you said 3 hours for yourself, keep it at three. If you weren't able to do something, tomorrow's the next day. And I think that's honestly a good point, just to um to have that way of going about life and everything. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. Like I could talk about more. I'm flying to Vienna tomorrow. It's gonna be exciting. I um I low key have been procrastinating lots of the planning that I should have been doing, and so it's bad. Procrastinating as a result of what I just talked about with like being consumed by whatever I'm working on. But yeah, it should be a good experience. I'm really excited for it. I'm excited to see my friends as well. I just need to get sleep. I'm tired. My eyes are like actually in pain. I'm waiting for my baby brothers to get out of the bathroom so I can go and shower. But yeah, um, oh, low key, final funny thing is I actually was wearing the same shirt in the same sweater in the previous that I was wearing in the previous entry, the May 24th entry, and I was like, yo, it can't be this cooked, and so I went to go and change the shirt. So, for people who watched all the way through, I guess you know that snippet of information. Anyway, that's the spiel for now. Um, I guess if you see this thumbnail, then if you see this thumbnail, you know what's up. Then you know that that's something you have to click on. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm gonna sleep, get ready, and then go to Vienna and enjoy the time, the remaining time I have here while I have it. All right, it's been a pleasure. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.